All right, y'all. So we put this up to 150% speed just to try to shorten the video a little bit, which is impressive enough that it was able to track for over 20 minutes consistently before running out of battery. All right, so we're just getting set up. It'll look slow here in the beginning. The device is already tracking the vehicle though. And just to clarify, I'm not just using the Skydio cell phone app and communicating the drone through there. It's also utilizing the beacon, and I think that's something important to note, is that this device is, it's game changing once you get that beacon as far as tracking capability. Simply because you get further range for tracking, so you can get up above these trees, which you'll see, and you can get a lot more distance with the drone. Also, if it gets out of line of sight, which the cell phone app can do as well, it's just that much more consistent with the GPS beacon. Now, we're going to start off slow here. That was a lot steeper in person. I feel like we always say that in off-roading videos, so whatever. Now, we're going to start simple, and then this is going to get a lot more complex as far as 360 obstacle avoidance for the Skydio 2. So right now we're in a huge open area. It's freaking gorgeous. Skydio's doing its thing. In a minute, we're going to get to some wooded terrain, and that'll maybe be moderate. I would say if you want, you can skip ahead maybe halfway through the video. It'll get much more complex. There's a few near misses. One is coming up here, I believe. So, having some fun. Just had some rain. Nice puddles, and I could have sworn it was going to impact right there. It came around. I had my cell phone mounted on the, up by my dashboard so I could watch what the drone was doing, and it was just like a few points here where I'm like, oh, like right there. Anyway, like pretty cool, all on its own. So sorry, now I'm just having fun watching. A little bit of that jerkiness there was on the beacon. I can just hit, a direction up, down, left, right. Right now I positioned it purposely at that angle between the 9 and 12 o'clock for the drone, because I was trying to get some of the fall leaves. Pretty cool. That was fun. Now I will say, whew, that was real close. All right. Whenever I'm on a mountain like this and, one side might be higher and then there's a sloped side, I generally put the drone to the sloped side. That just helps when it's doing that parallel tracking. So I have had a crash or two when it's on the, the upward slope side of the mountain. Not in this scenario, right? But I've had it with some thinner branches in the past. This was a cool shot. You can see all the way back through the valley. All right. This is the only time during this route where I actually take it off the automated tracking, only because I hadn't been up here before and I saw this cool little campsite. This is Bureau of Land Management area where you can do some camping. So what I did was I put this in orbit mode. I just thought it'd be a cool orbit, down low to the ground, swing around the drone. So I put it in orbit with the beacon. You can do that super quick, but hey, guess what? It tracked all the way there, no problem, which I'm not going to lie, like I have a Mavic 3. I'm waiting for the level 5 update here in January, February. I'm going to do the same exact route with the Mavic 3 and see how it can roll through, but I don't know. Skydio's got some skill right here. And you can see how seamless that was with this beacon, right? So I did the orbit. I wanted to go straight back into tracking. It's like 2 buttons on the beacon as I was pulling out, and it went straight back into tracking this vehicle. Freaking awesome. All right, we're peeling off to the right. So this was, like I said, a little bit of the less complex area. We're going to get more into some woods here. On the beacon, what I did was I increased... It's making me paranoid just watching it, even though I know the results. So I increased the distance, the follow distance of the drone here as we hit some taller trees. Only because I kind of wanted that over the top view, right? Which will look pretty cool. But also, and this is auto tracking, even at this distance with the beacon. Cell phone app, I think you would have lost it by now. But anyway, I didn't want it to get stuck down in these trees or bogged down. Oh, gosh, this is stressful to watch. It's amazing. It is freaking amazing. Look at this. These things are like wire coat hangers, and it's making it through it. You know what I mean? That was amazing. That was all just a drone kind of thinking, understanding where, beacon was telling it that the vehicle was, and it did all that on its own. Pretty amazing. Didn't get stuck. Cruising through some puddles. If this wasn't just a test for Skydio 2 autonomous tracking, I probably would have flashed over to the GoPro. I had made this a little bit more cinematic and fun, and had y'all going through the puddles with me, with the sound. But obviously not the purpose of this video. Where I'm quiet, I'm just kind of allowing you to enjoy what the drone is doing right now. That wasn't due to the drone getting lost or anything. That was me. Those puddles were the puddles. I hit them at such speed. It was up and over the windshield and I couldn't see. So I had to stop for a minute. Let the windshield wipers catch up with the water, basically. This is a beautiful area though. By the time the Mavic 3 is updated, I honestly think this will be locked up. They usually put a gate across in November, so you can't get back in here because the snow gets too high. Purposely chose this 6 to 9 o'clock angle because I was hoping, my only feedback a little bit sometimes is that and I get partially on me, right, for making the altitude so high, it has no choice but to look directly down to maintain that line of sight. I just wish, the camera angle was a little wider, or camera field of view, to get both the subject you're tracking and a little bit more of the sky. Here I was trying to actually go lower so that as I go through these puddles you could see. Yeah, because that's the terrain, you can't tell how difficult some parts of it are when it's that high. So I was trying to get some of that for the Jeep video I wanted to make. Really cool when it's down low. So obviously I was able to lower the altitude and shorten the follow distance as I got back into an open field. So that's just a couple buttons. You can do that while you're driving using the beacon. You can do it with the app too pretty easily, actually. And so this whole video is at 150% speed, okay? So this is just me rerouting here. I don't really know where I'm at. So I was like, do I go straight or left? Decided to go left into this area because it gets really steep and cool. I kind of got stuck later on in the day out there because it got so muddy. But, so the drone here, if I wasn't at 150% speed, would be at almost 20 to 23 minutes of tracking, I believe. I was shocked it went through that area. Really happy it did, though. Some cool footage here. If I'd go back and do it, I would have stopped everything, right? I was trying to get some straight following so you all didn't see the footage stop at all and think maybe something shady happened. But normally I think I would have stopped the drone, stopped the recording before entering here. Like this moment right there, stopped the vehicle, brought it real close, and then had it track directly behind me deep in that wooded area. When it's doing this fully autonomous tracking, I think it was trying to protect itself and didn't want to go in there. So it got stuck right here. It can still see me. I could have kept going, but it wasn't necessarily getting the shot I want. And at about, I'd say, like this moment, also the low battery alarm started going off. Skydio batteries, I know they're rated, I think, for like 30 minutes. You get about 20, 22. On a day like this, there was some wind blowing, and it was tracking, which then also hits the computing power, which also draws more battery. So I'd say 20 to 22 minutes when you're straight tracking like this. It's a higher elevation mountain and it's cold. So this is me really trying to push that battery, and I pay for it here in a second, which you'll see. It's trying to find a spot to land it's no longer listening to me. It's trying to emergency land right now. This is where I paid for it. But pretty sweet. It ended up just kind of floating in between some twigs, which you'll see in a minute. And I really didn't want it to crash, so I hopped out of the side of my vehicle because that road was so angled I literally couldn't even open my door. So I rolled down the window, hopped out of the window because there was some land blocking me from opening the door. And I sprinted up this hill to get the drone. But I hope y'all enjoyed that video. Feel free to comment, ask any questions, and y'all enjoy the rest of your day. This drone right now, time of making this video, is still I think $400, $500 off for the base package. You can do everything here with that base package. The cell phone app will track. Yeah, there's me running through the woods trying to get this thing before it crashes itself. But anyway, the cell phone app, if base package $500 off, you'll still be able to track like this, just maybe not quite at such distances. So I would highly recommend the beacon, even maybe over the remote controller, if you're going to do less cinematic work and more action sports. If you're looking for more cinematic video, get the controller. Also, y'all, appreciate everything you do when you're watching this channel. Appreciate everyone's input, so feel free to subscribe. And let me know your page if you've got one, and I'll make sure to follow on with some reciprocity. See y'all.